Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good.
All right, everything's good in your world. What's going on?
It's good. I just have a few concerns, that's all.
Okay, that's all right. So yeah, the reason I wanted to meet today was so we could talk about those concerns. I know you're having some trouble with my student Roger in your class, so I really just want us to, talk about it. I want to hear more, and then we can maybe brainstorm some solutions and move forward from there. So, I know you're having some problems, so just tell me a little bit more about your concerns and what you're experiencing so I can gain a better understanding.
Okay, so I'm going to be honest. It has been very hard lately for me as an educator to try and handle his behavior issues and try to manage my classroom at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And with this classroom full of 20 plus students and him, it's been very challenging for me, and I know that it's been a challenge for the students as well, trying to stay focused on their work while he's acting out and not, causing more of the students to also act out because they see him acting like that and think it's okay.
All right, yeah. So I totally understand, and I can tell you're a little bit upset. So I definitely want to kind of dive in and come up with some solutions, see what we can do to fix this problem and get your classroom back into some order. So right off the bat, if you don't mind, I'm going to take some notes so that we can kind of keep track of our progress. Right off the bat, do you have any ideas of solutions that you think?
I think a good solution would be to move him to a different classroom.
Okay, so move him. All right, great. Well, thanks for that idea. No idea is a bad idea. We're going to go through and both kind of shoot out some, and then once we come up with the list, we'll go through and weigh out pros and cons. So thank you for sharing that. One of my ideas I had is to keep him in the classroom, but maybe put a para in the classroom with him to kind of guide him through the work, keep him on track, and if there is a behavioral problem, the para can try to troubleshoot that. So I will put a para educator on this list too. All right, do you have any other ideas?
Maybe just if we do have to keep him in the classroom, just having a designated area where he can go to cool off and try to get his cool back.
All right, I like that, a cool off area. That is awesome. Okay, another idea that I had was maybe creating and implementing a token economy to give positive reinforcements for the good behaviors that he does use, because that tends to have a big effect on behavior, and it's a pretty good intervention. So maybe we could do a little token economy for reinforcement.
I'm not sure how I quite feel about that one.
Okay.
I feel as if this other students saw that, they would not be kind of okay with that. I don't know how I feel about giving tokens to one student than to the whole class. And I don't want to have to give them to the whole class.
Yeah, I can understand that. That makes a lot of sense. And I hear your concern with that. So we'll leave it on there for now. And then once we finish a list, we can kind of touch over everything and see what we want to do. So another idea that I did have was you had mentioned that you have some stronger performing students in your class. An idea could be to partner Roger with one of those students to, help guide him a little bit. And, if that student is a good performing student, they could easily help keep him on track. And then we would also avoid bringing in an outside person as a parent educator. But so partnering him up might be an option for us.
Yeah, I think I like that.
Okay. One last idea that I had was I know that you had mentioned that his behaviors tend to distract other students. And one thing that I do think might be beneficial is maybe when Roger is not in the class, teaching your students how to ignore negative behavior. Because really Roger's thing is that he acts out for attention. He wants those laughs and people talking about him, and he wants all of that because it's attention. So I feel like if we, or you or I or both of us, were to talk to your classroom without Roger there and kind of explain to them, if you ignore him, if you don't laugh, if you act like it's not happening, he's going to stop doing it. So that is a option as well. Do you have anything else to add?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so we've got a pretty good list here. I'll read through them, and then we can go through and pick out pros and cons and what we may want to do. So you had said move him to a different room, adding a paraeducator, providing a cool-off area, token economy for reinforcements, partnering up with a student that performs well in your class, and teaching your other students to ignore his negative behaviors. So right off the bat, are there any of these that you think have really bad consequences right away?
I'm not sure how I feel about having a paraeducator in my room.
Okay.
I just feel like maybe we could try something else before if it does have to come to that.
Okay.
We could just try to see what else we could do other than to do that.
So maybe an option to come back on.
Yeah.
Okay.
To revisit later.
All right. Is there anything else on this list that is kind of you think would create a lot of consequences or not go well?
Not that I know.
Okay, that's all right. So moving him to a different classroom, I do have an issue with this just because we really do prioritize inclusion at our school, and I really believe that him being in a general ed classroom is his least restrictive environment. So I do think that moving him to a different classroom is it's going to be way too impactful. It's going to be a bit too much for Roger to just change classes in the middle of the school year. So I think that it would have a huge negative impact on him. But I'm not discounting the idea at all.
Okay.
The cool-off area in the classroom I really like. I think that is a good idea and something to definitely further explore because, students that do have behavioral problems, they do, when things get wrong, it helps them to have a place to go to cool off. So that's something that I don't know if I see any consequences with, except for maybe you would lose a section of your classroom.
Yeah.
But, yeah. The token economy for reinforcement, this has been proven to be effective, and I know you had mentioned earlier that you didn't think it'd be super fair to other students, but we could even do something like tallies on a sheet, and when he gets to 5, then he gets a reinforcement when he comes back to my class afterwards. So, I can see how it may be unfair to other students, but something to consider. And then partnering him up with one of the more higher functioning students in your class. How do you feel about that?
I think that would be a good idea, but I'm just not sure about how that student would feel about having to kind of help him out.
Okay, I see. So it may
cause
some discrepancy within that student. Okay, I understand. Okay, and then what do you think about maybe the two of us going into your classroom and telling your students to work on ignoring those negative behaviors?
I really thought that was a good one, and
Okay.
I thought maybe we could combine that with another one that we could kind of agree on.
Absolutely. So I definitely think that teaching the other students to ignore is good and would help them even in other classes in which they have maybe a student that acts out. The other idea I thought that was great was the cool-off area. So maybe we can combine those two. And then we had said come back to the paraeducator. So why don't we try, for now, if you're okay with this, we go and we teach your students to how to ignore this behavior and to not give it any more attention. And we show Roger this cool-off area. We can put some tools there for him that may help him wind down and everything. And we can revisit this and see if these two changes help out. And if they don't, then we can revisit the idea of bringing a paraeducator in.
Perfect.
Great. Awesome. So when would be a great time to meet up again and see if this is working out?
Maybe during the middle of this semester.
Okay. So give it like 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. 3 or 4 weeks. So I'll probably come and find you in maybe about 2 weeks to schedule a date to do this, since we are looking a little bit ahead. But I think that that's a great idea. So just to summarize really quick, we are going to, when would you like for me to come in the classroom and help you with talking to them about ignoring?
As soon as possible, I think.
As soon as possible?
Yeah.
Okay, we could do tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Tomorrow. And then we will reevaluate in 3 to 4 weeks, and we'll provide him a cool-off area for that. Well, awesome. I think this went really well. What are your plans for the rest of the day?
Oh, I'm going to go home and watch the game.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Fun. I think I'm probably going to do the same thing.
Sweet.
Awesome. Well, I hope you enjoy it, and thank you for coming to meet
Yes,
me.
of course.
All right, have a good one.
Bye. Yay!
Yeah.